Alright guys, so this is going to be my Inuyasha Q&A. As always, if you guys would like to be part of future Q&As, just hit the link in the description box below. Head on over to my Patreon, hit the first tier, that'll allow you access to do so, as well as check out my episode reviews for Daredevil Born Again, as well as, other movie reviews, and as well as polls that affect videos over there on Patreon, as well as here on YouTube. But other than that, let's get started with the video. Starting off, we have Christopher Rosa, who asks, if you wrote a horror story about Inuyasha being transported to a modern-day Japan and having to fight supernatural monsters, how would it go? Well, it kind of can do that already. He can already go to present-day Japan through, the Bone Eater Well. So, yeah. But if I was to say, Inuyasha just kind of, just kind of, chilling in the present timeline, I would say, maybe have it something along the lines of, it's more of a horror-based show, more like, I wouldn't say demon, but more like it's more like Tokyo Ghostwire, if you guys know that game. So maybe something of that kind of horror level. Maybe do more like folklore or something of that nature. I don't know. Second question. Second question. Which two villains from an anime and cartoon are most likely to team up with Naraku? I would say for anime, probably the Major, just because I think the Major would want to utilize Naraku's miasma gas as some kind of bioweapon. What else? For cartoon, I would probably say something along the lines of probably maybe Toffee. I kind of think Toffee and Naraku would probably be on the same page on a lot of things. So those would be my picks. Third question. If you had a chance to remake Inuyasha, what changes would you keep and what would you keep the same? I don't really think I would remake Inuyasha. The only thing I would, remake is probably make Inuyasha and Kagome's relationship a lot less toxic. That's really the only real change I would definitely have, is probably something of that nature, because I'd make it way less annoying. I think that's the only real change I'd have. Yeah. So thank you for those questions, Christopher. Moving on now to Hunter Johnson, who asks, what if Inuyasha and Samurai Jack swapped rogues galleries? Well, the thing is, Samurai Jack didn't really have a rogues gallery. He just had Aku, and he really just had only Aku, and that was it. There were other characters, but they were never around to really battle Samurai Jack on a regular basis. Inuyasha does have a bit of a rogues gallery. I'm talking of course, the Band of Seven, Naraku, his servants, things like that. But the big thing was, it's really only Aku that Inuyasha would be fighting, and since he doesn't really have the sword to battle, the katana that was made by gods to hurt Aku, I don't think that would, be of much help. I really don't think it would be of much... I don't think it would be much help. So, probably wouldn't go well for Inuyasha. Now, Jack, on the other hand, Jack would probably be of the mindset of... yeah, I can take these guys. And I think his sword would definitely harm Naraku. So, second question. What would Moroku think of Sailor Mars? I think Moroku would think, depending on where we are in the timeline of the series, I think Moroku would probably be of the mindset of, I'm a married man, I'm a married man, I'm a married man. And if this is earlier in the timeline, I would say, this young priestly maiden has, sought my help. What am I to do as a monk? And just kind of grope her. I'm not trying to be lewd or anything. That's exactly what Moroku does, is that the moment he meets a lovely woman, he gets touchy. Anyway. Third question. Do you remember the one episode where Kagome's brother Sota wore an outfit that was straight up similar to Detective Conan? Yeah, I do. Yeah, it was weird. Nice reference, though, but it was weird. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Hunter. Moving on now to Mount Vernon Kid. Chris, what's up, brother? First question: is Inuyasha one of your favorite half demons of all time? I would say so. Yeah. Definitely a fun one. I would say, I mean, Inuyasha can't himself as the character can get on my nerves at points, but really, like, I don't think, he's awful. I don't think in any way, shape, or form he's really that awful. But I can see, I can see why people don't like him, but I do. I do. Second question. Do you see similarities between Inuyasha and Sesshomaru and Dante and Virgil's relationship? Oh, yes. Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely can see it. I thought that for a long time of like Inuyasha and Sesshomaru are just like Dante and Virgil. Like, there's no doubt about it. The only thing is, Virgil's way more willing to work with Virgil is way more willing to work with Dante than Sesshomaru is with Inuyasha. Like, when push comes to shove, Virgil will just be like, "All right, I guess I'm working with you." Like, yeah, it takes a little bit, but Virgil will nut up or shut up when it comes to Dante. Whereas Sesshomaru will just be like, "If I'm going down, I hope you die first." That's really how it goes. Third question. Favorite end credit theme? Oh, come on. I can't remember what the title is, but I think we can all agree that the best one is the one that all woke us up at 3 in the morning. You know the theme. You woke up when it went the ending theme, and we all woke up to see Sesshomaru standing before his father's grave. I can't remember the name of it, but that was such a fucking banger, wasn't it? And I don't even have to say the name. You just know what it is. Anyway, so thank you for those questions, Chris. Moving on now to Cyborg 19.99, who asks, Inuyasha versus Sabretooth, who would win? I would probably give that... Depends. I think I would give that to Sabretooth because his healing factor is a lot more rapid. Also, Sabretooth has gone up against Hulk and a few other powerhouses. Inuyasha, while he has gone up against some serious forces in his own right, I will say that I do think Sabretooth would come out on top. I think, again, his healing factor is pretty rapid, and he's pretty quick on the draw. However, if Inuyasha hits him with that wind scar or backlash wave, he's going to have trouble getting back up, and especially if Tetsaiga gets knocked out of his hands and Inuyasha goes full demon, I think the fight goes a little... It just goes just into another level. But I think I would give it slightly to Sabretooth. Second question. How would you do a Inuyasha Yu Yu Hakusho crossover? I think what I would like to do with a Inuyasha Yu Yu Hakusho crossover is probably do something along the lines of a... I'd probably say something along the lines of a... What was it? Maybe something is wrong in the realm of the dead, and it's being traced back to the Bone Eater's well, and Yusuke and his group have to investigate it and see if the realm between time and the realm of the dead are getting fucked up, so they have to go investigate it or something. That's something I can only think of off the top of my head. If Deadpool encountered Inuyasha, what shenanigans would ensue? There is actually, and I don't know if it's up, there's this I actually want to bring everyone's attention to this fanfiction. It was a Deadpool Inuyasha crossover on fanfiction.net called, I believe, Present Day Demons. I don't know if it's still around, but Present Day Demons was a Deadpool Inuyasha crossover before Deadpool was a household name. It was years before the Deadpool movie. So it isn't it was riding the high of Deadpool. It was when Deadpool was still a comic known character, but not a massive, household name. The fanfiction itself was a lot of fun. There wasn't really a lot of breaking the fourth wall, although I do think the epilogue is kind of just dumb in a fun way. It involves Deadpool kidnapping Ricky Martin. I'm not joking. And I do there's a lot of good jokes in there, too. It's a great Inuyasha Deadpool crossover. I think I've reviewed it years ago, but that question just immediately reminded me of that story. So again, the story's called Present Day Demons. Go look it up. All right. And again, I don't know if it's up or not. It's been years though. All right, so thank you for those questions, Cyborg. Moving on to David Deister, who asks, "What would a Inuyasha TMNT crossover look like?" Okay, I would say, I think like how I would do it is have it that the hand, I mean not the hand, the foot have been heard about, like they've been looking for the swords of the Conqueror, Inu Taisho swords. Inuyasha and Shishomaru's fathers, the three swords of the honorable ruler or great conqueror, kind of banties. Anyway, so they basically been tracking Inuyasha's movements whenever he comes to the present day, and they essentially want to like take it and take Tetsaiga. And I would even have a scene where like Shredder battles Inuyasha, and Inuyasha's like, "I don't smell like a demon on you. You're just a normal human, and you want to fight me." And Shredder's just like, yeah, I can take you on." And Shredder just dog walks Inuyasha, and then when he's like taking Tetsaiga away from Inuyasha, Inuyasha's like, "You can't use that. It's gonna burn you." And Tetsaiga, like Shredder is such a badass. He just bends Tetsaiga. He's like holding on to his like fucking up his arm, and he, like Bebop and Rocksteady are like watching in shock as like, "You forget who I am. I am Shredder," and just like breaks Tetsaiga's like will and brings him down. And then I would even have it that like he uses Inuyasha and Kagome to like go to the past, and well, I'd probably have it that he uses Kagome to like jump through the Bone Eater's well to go hunt for the others. And also, like, he has like it's a two-pronged plan to go look for Tenseiga, Shishomaru's sword, and also like basically find the Foot Clan of that time and get them ready to, and like get them all set to like be as biggest threat as they are now. I would even, but yeah, I would also have the turtles involved in that. They've been tracking Shredder back to Japan and helping Inuyasha save Kagome in that timeline. Yeah, there you go. So, second question. If Inuyasha was made into a live-action series or movie franchise, who would you see directing it? I don't trust that at all. I in no way, shape, or form trust the idea at this point of a live-action anime. I would dare say, though, I would say that it would have to be someone who knows, like, at its core, Inuyasha is known for, like, action and whatnot, but it has to be, like, a director and a screenwriter who understand romance. Because at the end of the day, that's what Inuyasha is. I don't want to hear bullshit from anyone else of, like, oh, it's adventure and whatnot. No, it's a romance story at its core. That's what Inuyasha and Kagome's story, it's a romance story. So you need someone who can balance action and romance, and that's a really hard line to do, because you can either do A or B. You can't do both. So that's really what it really kind of boils down to at the end of the day. So for director, I would say like maybe someone who also could do the Fantastic, but every time I think of a director, it's just like some Joe Schmo who did one of those garbage fantasy show movies that are just really low budget and have awful CGI. That's what I'm afraid it would be. Yeah, so I can't really think of anyone. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm tired. I lost my train of thought. So yeah, third question. Who is your favorite and least favorite characters in Inuyasha? It's going to be a basic bitch thing to say, but Shishomaru is my favorite character in Inuyasha. He's just a badass. He exudes like I am like the coolest guy in the show. And even Remuko Takahashi, the creator of the show, is of that same vein where it's like, yeah, he's like, you feel like almost Takahashi, she really wanted to make this called Shishomaru, the show. Because it's very evident in the sequel show that that Shishomaru and Rin's children, which that's a whole box of Pandora's box I don't want to open right now. I don't know if that's a question in the future in this lineup, but I'll talk about. But I don't know how that goes. But it's very clear there's some favoritism there. Because again, Shishomaru is just fucking badass. I know that's such a fucking basic bitch thing to say, but Shishomaru is just a fucking beast, literally. Least favorite character, I don't quite much care for Shippo, and I don't know why. Actually, no, Shippo I do like. I take that back. There are some times where I do enjoy his time. I'll tell you who I don't like. I detest. I fucking detest. I don't know if I want to say it. Like, I don't know if I should say Kikyo. I don't like Kikyo. Kikyo is just it's the most boring shit with her. She has chances to be an interesting character. She really does. But then she just comes off as boring. And also, like, it's just she's there to be a romantic rival, in a sense, to Kagome, which is her. And they don't talk about, like, that she's the reincarnation of Kikyo, and this is just a reanimated... I don't get it. Like, everything about Kikyo is just boring and contradictive. I fucking hate her. Hate's a strong word. There are, like, she does have some cool moments, but whenever she shows up, it's like, oh, what's up, corpse? Anyway. So thank you for that question, David. Moving on to Gordon Rajani, who asks, how are you first exposed to Inuyasha? Like all of us, I heard about it from all the cool anime weebs in high school, and I would stay up on a school night to watch these anime episodes out of order in very low volume so my parents wouldn't hear me and beat the shit out of me, and then talk about, like, oh, I saw it, and then I would get DVD rip episodes from my friends and watch it, and that kind of spiraled from there. It was a good hyperfixation for a bit, let me tell you. Favorite Inuyasha arcs. I would say one of my favorites is the Band of Seven arcs. I know, it is a full-ass... I'm very well aware it is a full-ass filler arc. But the Band of Seven were kind of bitchin' villains, if I'm being honest. They were just some serious-ass villains that I really enjoyed seeing. Have you seen any of the movies? Yes, I have. I've seen all of them. My favorite is movie 3, Swords of the Honorable Ruler. That's my favorite one. That was my first one, and I still love it to this day. I have the DVD, actually. So yeah, and the other one, like, movie 1 sucks. Like, movie 1 just straight up his ass. Movie 2 makes no goddamn sense to me, and movie 4 is not bad. So anyway, movie 3 is the best. Let's all be real. Movie 3 is the best. So thank you for those questions, Gordon. Moving on to Tom Hibbert, who asks, did you think Inuyasha always saw Kagome's mom as a second mother figure to him but never admitted it? I never got that, honestly. Yeah, I never got that. I never felt that, so I don't, yeah, sorry. Second question. What would Inuyasha and Himura Kenshin from Rurouni Kenshin think of each other? I think Kenshin would just be all, like, calm and monk-like, and just kind of, like, being calm, cool, and collected. And Inuyasha would just be like, fucking fight me, asshole! Like, just be a ball of anger all the time. Anyway, third question. In terms of toxic relationships, do you see Inuyasha and Kagome as a good couple or a toxic one? It really banties the line. It really does half the goddamn time, where it really does feel like Inuyasha is bantying the line between, toxic relationship. It's been toxic a lot. It's really annoying. But there are other times where it's genuinely sweet, but then I remember, oh yeah, they're just going to yell at each other, all their names all the goddamn time. So, I'm going to say yes. Moving on now to Lamanta Benson, who asks, how do you think the relationship between Inuyasha and Sango would work? You see, Inuyasha and Sango, that's a ship I have seen a few times. I know everyone loves Shishomaru and Kagome, which that is only slightly not, like, less okay. You see, a lot of... This is a conversation I'm going to have at some point, but I digress. What was I saying? Yeah, Inuyasha and Sango is a fascinating one. I have seen that a few times, and I can see but the problem is they're so drastically different, because Sango's not going to put up with Inuyasha's bullshit the way Kagome does. That's the other thing, is that she's not going to put up with Inuyasha's shit, and also like just fucking fight all the like I think they'd be a little more toxic to each other. Yeah, that's just kind of my thought process at the least of it, is that these two are just going to be like fighting with each other more often. Second question: who is your most hated villain from the show? You see, the problem is a lot of the bad villains are killed off, so I can't really think of one. I would say probably the villain from the villain from movie 3, the human one, the one where when So-Onga, the Sword of Hell, possesses and reanimates his body, because he was a fucking incel. He was just a fucking incel, if I'm being honest. It was like, oh, I wanted, I wanted this demon prince's wife, and if I couldn't have her after giving birth to their child, I'll kill her, and then say she loved me this whole time. Fucking cry me a river, bitch boy. So there you go. Third question: what are your thoughts on the sequel series? I have not watched it. I've only seen bits and pieces. I haven't been able to watch the show. I don't have Crunchyroll or any access to that, and I haven't been able to watch it. So that's on me. That's unfortunately it. I just haven't been able to watch it. I've heard mixed things about it, but I want to see for myself. And finally, we have Bill McLaughlin, whose first question is: aside from Inuyasha and Kagome, who is your favorite member of the team? Sango. Sango is a fucking beast. Like, she definitely got shit done when the others wouldn't. Like, she would get shit done no matter what, and still put up with Moroku's shit by the end of the day. So I'd say Sango. Second question: would you say the dynamic between Inuyasha and Shishomaru is similar to Wolverine and Sabretooth? Nah, definitely not. Those two were definitely not like Wolverine and Sabretooth. That's not even close, in my opinion. No. Third question: aside from Naraku, who is your favorite villain? I'd probably say like I always liked Kagura. She was always fun. And I also liked her with Shishomaru way more than Shishomaru and Rin, because that is some fucking Chris Hansen shit, and I will never stop talking about that. That's the other thing that bothered me with the sequel show too. Anyway, so there you go, guys. That is all the questions. I want to thank everyone who sent in questions, and yeah. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in Multiverse.